Hey guys, this is Ryan Typhlosion37, coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, bringing you a draft analysis for the UAPB Season 3. Now, I was scrolling through Discord like a week ago. Someone was like, hey, we need a replacement for a league. The battles haven't started yet, only the draft happened. It's an upload league. I said, summer's coming up, I'll have enough time to do it. Why not? So, although I'm not too comfortable with the team I ended up with, I did get 7 free agents, which I'll get into. I used 5 of them so far. But before I get into the draft, I want to give a shout out to Matt O'Shea. He made the layout for this video, which I'm very thankful for. Matt's a great guy. I'll leave his link in the description. So, right off the bat, looking at my team, I have a Comfey. And in my opinion, Comfey's not a great Pokemon. I like my fairies to be higher tier for the most part. And unfortunately, not surprisingly, pretty much all the good fairies are taken, or so I thought. I'm looking at tier 1, and I see a Tapu Lele. So, originally, I grabbed Tapu Lele along with everything else I grabbed, but then I found out it's Telepathy, and Telepathy Tapu Lele is a tier 2 Pokemon, so I don't know why it's sitting in tier 1. It's completely not worth it without Psychic Surge, so I decided against getting Tapu Lele, and instead getting the only other halfway decent fairy left, Azumarill. Now, Azumarill, I mean, it's pretty much going to do one thing, and that's hit very, very hard with huge power, Play Rough, Aqua Jet, Liquidation, potential Belly Drum, Power Up Punch, Ice Punch. It gets Toxic, obviously. It can run Sap Sipper, Whirlpool, Perish Song, Facade if I really need it, Waterfall if I want to try to flinch, Seismic Toss if I want to be bulkier, Superpower, I don't know if I already said that. It does get Aqua Ring if you want to really be that guy, but for the most part, it's just going to be Belly Drum, Stab, Priority. Like, it's the best set for the most part, and definitely a much better fairy than Comfey. So the other thing I wanted to change mainly was my Fast Electric type, was Manectric. Now, Manectric isn't terrible, sitting in tier 4, like 105 speed, 105 special attack, but my main issue with it is that it has absolutely no move pool. It has Electric Stab, Flamethrower, Overheat, Hidden Power, and Signal Beam, and that's pretty much it. So I upgraded Manectric to Raikou. Raikou is better in every way, better stats, hits harder, is faster, better move pool, setup options. It's a much better Pokemon and I'm much more comfortable with it. Obviously, Calm Mind, Aura Sphere, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, things like Extra Sensory even. It does get Extreme Speed if I really need it, which is very unlikely. Shadow Ball, I don't know if I said that yet. Sub Calm Mind is always a good option. Its bulk isn't terrible at 90, 75, and 100. It does get Curse, because Cursed Raikou is clearly the best set. It's going to be the next Snorlax, calling it now. But, like Raikou, overall, I'm just pretty comfortable with it. I've used it quite a bit in the past, so I grabbed it again. Now, the first Pokemon I did not free agent for and kept on the original draft is Salazzle. Obviously, 117 speed, just slightly higher than the base 115, which is a great speed tier to have. Although I was complaining about Manectric's move pool, Salazzle gets an even smaller one of Hidden Power, Dragon Pulse, Fire moves, and Poison moves, and that's it. But the things it has going for Manectric are it hits harder, it's faster, and it has Nasty Plot for setup, and even decent utility with stuff like Fake Out, Encore, and Dragon Tail. And obviously it does get Toxic, but everything gets Toxic, so it also gets Foul Play if I really need it. But for the most part, Salazzle is going to come in. You'll need to try to find a switch in, which can be very hard for some drafts. It does get Taunt as well, which I'm just realizing, but Salazzle, I just didn't feel like it was worth the free agent to try to find a better fire type, because Salazzle's a pretty decent one in itself. So I figured I'd give it a try. Next up, Uxie. I've used Azelf many times, love it. I've used Mesprit once, it was decent. So why not try Uxie? I already had it on the draft. It's a psychic type. It's bulky. It'll help me probably. So it gets things like Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball, Psychic Stab, Fire Punch, Foul Play, Giga Drain, Grass Knot, Power Up Punch, Memento, Magic Coat, Dual Screen, Psychic, Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, Thunder Wave, Toxic, Trick Room, U-Turn. So many moves. It's absolutely amazing. The one thing it doesn't have that Azelf has is Flamethrower and Fire Blast, which are obviously helpful to hit steel types that resist its stab. But, I mean, Fire Punch is still there. Its attack and special attack are the same. But Uxie, for the most part, isn't going to be offensive anyways. I don't remember if I said it, but it does get Stealth Rocks, which are always useful. Thunder Wave, obviously, to cripple things. Toxic. It gets Charge Beam if I really need it, but I highly doubt I'll be running Charge Beam. So, for the most part, it's just going to be bulky sitting there taking hits, maybe hitting back somewhat hard. But getting into the next Pokemon, the one thing on my draft, the original draft, that I didn't really get a direct one-to-one trade-off for is Skuntank. Originally, I had a Landorus Therian, and I know people are going to yell at me for getting rid of Lando T because it's a very good Pokemon. I'm not comfortable with it at all, and I would rather have the points. I had a ground type in Piloswine. Flying isn't that great of a type, especially when its only stab is Fly, forcing it to run a Z move. Speaking of Z moves, you're only allowed one Z Captain, and I did pick Azumarill. Figured I'd mention that. But Skuntank, I wanted a Dark type. There weren't too many great ones left, just like Fairies. I've used Skuntank before in the past, so I grabbed it. It obviously gets Crunch, Pursuit, Sucker Punch, Poison Jab, Explosion. It does get Defog, which is helpful. Acid Spray can cripple things. It gets Haze and Roar for phasing. It gets Memento if I need it. Hone Claws for a little bit of setup, because its offenses aren't too bad. It does get Taunt as well. Again, not too many options, but it's mainly just going to be bulk and hazard removal, which is always nice to have. Another bulky hazard setter is my next Pokemon, Piloswine. Nothing switches into the combination of ground and ice. There are very, very few things in the game like Rotom Wash, but those can always be toxic on the switch in. The Piloswine, as I said, gets rocks. With Eviolite, it can be pretty bulky. Ice Shard for priority, Freeze Dry if I really need it. Otherwise, it's not going to be doing much else. I guess it gets Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Superpower, but for the most part, it's just going to be bulky. It does get Roar for phasing as well. Light Screen and Reflect is options if I really need them. But for the most part, it's just going to sit there, take a couple hits, maybe hit back. The one thing on this draft I was most excited to see was Mega Lopunny. If you watched my WPL Season 6, you'll know that Mega Lopunny is a monster. It led the league in kills, 23 in regular season, some more in playoffs. I'm not going to say how many because I still haven't posted the last 2 playoff games. But, like, well, I just realized I spoiled that I made finals, but it's all good. It's been revealed on Twitter anyway, so. Mega Lopunny is an absolute monster. Amazing speed, amazing attack. Nothing switches into the combination of its dual stab due to its scrappy ability. Like, the best things to switch into it are stuff like Cuff Egregious or Slowbro, but there are and Uxie as well, so I have some good switch-ins to it myself if I really needed them, but Mega Lopunny, I'm expecting it to do very, very good things for me. So, the next Pokemon I grabbed is Slowbro, so there's another Mega Lopunny switch-in gone. This was my replacement for Manaphy. Yes, I dropped Landorus Therian and Manaphy. Please yell at me. But ultimately, I just wanted to go with things I was comfortable with because I'm already not comfortable with a lot of this team. And I didn't trust myself using Manaphy. I like my water types to have recovery. Slowbro has recovery, Manaphy didn't. Obviously, I have Azu, but I drafted it more as a fairy, not a water type. And Slowbro is just going to sit here, take hits, mostly physical, but it has decent special defense too. It can Calm Mind up just like Uxie, and a physically defensive Calm Mind Slowbro is stopped by nothing except Toxic, or like an extremely powerful Banded Tapu Koko or something. But it gets Psyshock for special walls, Scald, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, Flamethrower even. So Slowbro has a lot of decent options. It can run Oblivious to stop Taunt if it really needs to, but for the most part it's going to be a Regenerator. And Slowbro's going to be here to take some hits and hit back, just like everything else on my draft from what I'm saying. But to finish up my Fire, Water, Grass core, I have Ferrothorn, which is also part of my Fairy Dragon Steel core, obviously. The dragon's coming up next. Ferrothorn, extremely bulky on both sides, only weak to fighting and fire. Fire is obviously 4 times weak, which can be annoying, but I think I can handle it. Ferrothorn's bulky enough to take 1 or 2. Leech Seed is its only form of recovery, which is kind of annoying, but I think I'll be able to deal with it. Gyro Ball, Power Whip are going to be the main ways it hits things. This is another Stealth Rocker. Also gets Spikes. I believe it's my only Spike stacker. Like, for the most part, it's just going to be physically or specially defensive with Spikes, Stealth Rocks, Leech Seed, Gyro Ball, Power Whip for the most part. It can also run Swords Dance if I needed to. It does get Knockoff as well, which could be useful. It does get Poison Jab, but there's no reason to run that for fairies when you have steel moves. So, Ferrothorn, I mean, I'm hoping it can do work, but I've never used it before, and I'm not super comfortable with it, so who knows. Now, the final returning member from WPL was originally a Hydreigon, free agent today for Goodra. I use Goodra way too much. I love it way too much. Dragon Pulse, Flamethrower, Muddy Water, Dragon Tail, Earthquake, Curse, Body Slam, Aqua Tail, Fire Blast, Fire Punch, Focus Blast, Focus Punch, Ice Beam, Outrage, Power Whip, Return, Rock Slide, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Superpower, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch. What is switching into this? Base 110 special attack, 100 attack, 90 HP, 150 special defense. Throw an Assault Vest on this, it's never dying unless you hit it from the physical side. It can take like 4% from a Victini Blue Flare if it specs. Like, this is one of the best special walls in the game. Unless you're hitting it from the physical side, it is not getting 2-hit KO'd by absolutely anything. I'm pretty sure if you invest enough in special defense, you can live 2 Ice Beams from a Black Kyurem. It's absolutely insane. And its abilities, it has 3 great ones. Hydration for if I'm facing a rain team or something. Sap Sipper can obviously switch into any grass move. And Gooey, which can slow down any Pokemon that makes contact. Such as, for example, if I was facing up against a Mega Lopunny and wanted to slow it down. But Goodra is just an absolutely amazing Pokemon. Finishes my Fairy Dragon Steel core. Azu, Ferrothorn, Goodra is absolutely terrifying. And the final Pokemon on the draft, I don't know why this was on the draft in Tier 5. Just like Tier 1 Lele, Tier 5 Miltank is absolutely ridiculous. Miltank should always be a Tier 4 Pokemon. 100 speed, 105 defense, 95 HP, even decent 70 special defense and 80 attack. Like, Miltank is such a good value pick for Tier 5. Body Slam, Brick Break, Earthquake, Fire Punch, Focus Punch if I really need it. Great utility with Heal Ball, Milk Drink. It does get Iron Head, Ice Punch, even Ice Beam if I need it. Rock Slide, Seismic Toss, Rest, Stealth Rocks as well, Thunder Wave, and Toxic. This thing has so many great options, both offensively and defensively. 80 attack isn't the best, but it can still definitely be used. And it does get Counter as well. I believe I already mentioned Curse, which can be amazing. It does get Icy Wind if I need to slow something down. For example, hit a Surprise Land or a Therian, because I believe someone picked it up after I dropped it. Rock Tomb as well to slow things down. It gets all the weathers, but pretty much everything does. Wait, Miltank also gets Whirlpool, which is very interesting. I don't think it gets Parashong. Let me check. Hold on. No, it doesn't get Parashong, so I can't do that. But Whirlpool with Toxic, for example, could be great. And once again, Miltank has 3 amazing abilities. Thick Fat to switch into fire types and ice types. Sap Sipper, again, to switch into grass types, just like Goodra. and Scrappy, which can, as said with Megalopony, let me hit ghost types. So if I want to run, like, for example, Rest Talk Cursed Body Slam will be able to hit every single Pokemon. Even Rock and Steel types, if it won't do much, it'll still be able to hit them and potentially sweep. So, I really, I mean, I'm not going to say I really like this draft. I'm obviously not super comfortable with it, but I think I did decently with what I could. Potential free agents in the future, since I do have 2 left, I wanted to be able to change things more if I needed, which I could see myself doing depending on what happens, but I have already played week 1 as well. I'll try to upload that this weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to. Actually, I don't know if the upload day is this week or next week. We'll have to figure that out. This draft analysis was supposed to go up the day after I joined the league, and I didn't have time to record, obviously. So I'm doing it now. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, thanks to Matt O'Shea for making the layout for me. Like and subscribe if you want. WPL playlist is in the description if you want to watch other leagues. I'll try to upload more this summer. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week, hopefully.